All right, so some practice trying to use an online calculator to add and subtract vectors. It should save a lot of time, I think. So the first one, part A, is just adding those three vectors straight up. So the main thing is knowing what to write for the direction. So for the website that's linked here, east stands for 0 degrees. And then it goes counterclockwise from there. So north would be called 90 degrees, and then west would be called 180 degrees. So you would put a number from 0 to 360. So what number would we put for north 40 degrees west? Like for the first vector is north 40 degrees west. Well, let me just draw north 40 degrees west, approximately here. So the number I would put in for vector 1 would be 90 plus 40. That would be 130 degrees is what I would put in for vector 1. What about vector 2 when it's west 10 degrees south? So west 10 degrees south looks something like this, with this being 10 degrees below west. So I would put in, if you start all the way from the east and go counterclockwise, that would be 180 plus 10. So I would put in 190 degrees for the green one. And then the last one, east 22 degrees north. Well, that's a nice one. That's in the first quadrant. So I would just put in directly 22 degrees for that one. All right, so those are the angles I put in, 130, 190 for green, and then 22 for yellow. I put in the magnitudes of 200 meters, 100 meters, and 150 meters. So that is what I did in this table here. So that matches with part A. So at the bottom gives me my final answer here. I mean, I'll put it into the sig figs that I have in mind. So I would say that it is 236 meters. And it's 88 or 89 degrees. 89 degrees. So that's not even 90 yet. So that's still in the first quadrant there. So it'd be east 90 or 89 degrees north. For part B, it says it's displacement 2 minus displacement 1 minus displacement 3. So I actually need to add the opposite. So I'll start with displacement 2 as that doesn't change, so that's still 100 at an angle of 190. But minus displacement 1 is going to be adding the negative of displacement 1. And same with minus displacement 3 is going to be the same as adding the negative of displacement 3. So the negative of displacement 1, the way I do that is I just change north to south and I change west to east. So this is going to become, I'll use colors here. The first one, D2, is 100 meters west 10 degrees south. However, the second one, I'll go with blue, is negative D1. So it's still going to be 200 meters for the magnitude, but the direction switch north to south, switch west to east, and now I have it in the opposite direction. Do the same with the third vector. Use green, and it's 150 meters, but the opposite direction, so east changes to west, and north changes to south. So basically my step was to change the subtraction into addition by flipping those directions. So when I go to plug it into the calculator, let's see what angles I'll plug in. I'll just write those underneath. For west 10 degrees south, I am plugging in 190 degrees. That's because west is 180 degrees, and then go 10 more counterclockwise to get to 190. For south, 40 degrees east. So south is already at 270 degrees. South is already at 270 degrees. And then I continue 40 more degrees towards the east, which is counterclockwise. So it's going to be 310 overall. And then west 22 degrees south is, west is 180 degrees. And then I continue towards the south, so that's counterclockwise. So I'm adding 22 more to that. That'll be 202 degrees. Those are the angles I'm going to use when I plug it into the calculator for this part, which I've already done. So let me expand that. And the answer, trying to find some space here. So the answer is given there as 56 meters, and the angle is given as 224 degrees. So I kind of have to do a little bit of work here. So let's see. Where's 224? So 0 is east. 0. 90 is north. 180 is west. 270 is south. So 224 is somewhere between 180 and 270. So what I can do is, if this is 224, I can calculate this angle here. What's that gap in between there? It's 224 minus 180. So that's 44 degrees. So it would be west 44 degrees south. So my final answer is 56 meters west 44 degrees south.